Chad Blunt, you know what I'm saying? It's going down.
This week on the JS Report, I got a special interview with Coach Melvin Cole from Pure Academy. I'm gonna go see if I can scare him. Woo!
Hey Jonathan, what's up, man? I just pulled up. I think I'm out here. What's up with that? Boom! Man, I coach at Pure Academy. Have you seen our schedule? I'm not afraid of anything.
All right, welcome back to another JS Report, Take One edition with Coach Melvin Cole. Coach Cole, appreciate you as always. Pure Academy coach right here. Coach, how did Pure Academy get all started?
All because of, well, Pure Academy, we got started from a little league organization where I just seen the holes in education and wanted to create my own school for kids that I felt like needed a nurturing environment and just more help. I didn't feel like that they were dumb or anything like that. I just felt like they was untaught because of the environment. So we've always been big on the education, but the football side didn't happen until COVID, when the superintendent made a terrible decision of canceling school and football for the inner city kids. So that's actually where our team was both birthed from COVID.
Preach, brother. Preach. you got it right on the money right there. Because a terrible decision is correct.
Yeah.
Because meanwhile, other teams were still playing. Shelby County schools should have been playing from the beginning as well.
Yeah, and then the thing about it is, it's not even about what other people was doing. It's about those kids needed to have an outlet from their environment. I mean, in Memphis, we got kids living in double the national average of poverty at 32%. So school was an outlet from a lot of that stuff, and then football for some of those kids going into their senior year was an opportunity to advance their education on the next level. So it was nothing about what somebody else was doing across the street. It was more so about these kids. This is what these kids need.
I absolutely agree 100% on everything that you just said. What do you think about the Memphis football as a whole right now for the city of Memphis regarding high school football? Like, I know your team is, we're going to talk about your team in a second, but what do you think about this Memphis area right now? Do you think we're going to bring some gold balls back to Memphis?
No.
Really?
No way.
Why you say that?
Just from my opinion, I think we need to focus more on the strength and conditioning aspect of the game. And I think that's where we lose at when we get into the third, fourth round of the playoffs, or just those other teams and institutions' commitment to the weight room.
Do you think it's also because of more depth at certain positions?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That as well.
Because the reason I'm asking you is because I know in Middle Tennessee, teams you played your schedule. Let's talk about your schedule a little bit. You might have not played any area teams this year, but you're getting, like Coach Clark, prime example, you're doing the same thing. You're getting your guys ready for the next level, whether it's either college or the next year of high school football.
Correct.
By playing this non-conference schedule that you put on the schedule this year, you're 1-8, but still, the teams that you played are no joke.
Correct.
First of all. So just talk about, like, your players, like, how many players does Pure Academy actually have this year?
So this year we have about 25 kids on the roster, and that's what it's all about, just putting quality, making the kids play against quality competition so they can understand where they are and what they need to do if they want to have a chance to be successful at this game of football.
Is there any players that you want to bring up at all that might be going to the next level, playing college football?
Yeah, so I think we're probably going to have about 4 that may sign this year, with our biggest one, Jalen Thrower. He played defensive end, outside linebacker, tight end for us. He's a heck of an athlete. Then we got Brandon Farmer, who's he play outside linebacker, plays from strong safety, 6'5", can run and jump with the wind. So I feel like he's been getting a few bites, and he's gonna make a decision here shortly. We got Jaheim Johnson, who's another 6'5" tight end, defensive end, that's been kind of creating some buzz lately because of his length and his athleticism. And then we got another kid, Eddie Bennett, out of Florida, Philip Buchanan, baby brother. I mean, he can do it all. He can sell popcorn. I mean, he can do it all for us. So we got 4 good, solid college prospects this year. We're actually planning to maybe have about 10 to 12 next year from our group. So
Yeah, just the schedule in general, like we mentioned, was no joke. Haywood, 28-21. You know, Haywood beat y'all 28-21. Cookville, 21-18. Terry, Mississippi, 35-0. Pearl-Cohn out of Nashville, 41-14. Rosa Fort, 32-26. Hardin County down in Savannah, environment the kids really never been to in Savannah.
right.
3-hour bus ride for that one, 21-14. Murfreesboro Blackman, hey, another powerhouse in Murfreesboro, 35-12. Lewis County, 44-26. And then this past week, you beat Crockett County at Crockett, 54-47 for the first win for Pierre. But like we talked about, that schedule gets these guys ready for either next year or the college level.
Right, because that's what it's all about. So, I never got into coaching to win state championships or any accolades from me. My whole goal that I knew that the game of football can help kids further their education will ultimately change the trajectory of their lives. So, I mean, that's how I look at it. And even when I tell the coaches, I said, now listen, at the end of the season, we're gonna have our record. We're either gonna be 1-9 or we're gonna be 2-8. And I said, we're gonna look at all these teams, and then there need to be a new stat that says, okay, how many kids do you have signed in December 20th? Mm-hmm. Because the reality of it is, I've won 4 games in 2 years, but I've sent 14 kids to college in 2
Absolutely.
years, and that's more than anybody in this city, hands down, for football-wise.
Let's talk about the matchup this week against Walker Valley. You know, like I know you've probably seen a little bit of film on them.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the matchup this weekend or this week.
It's gonna be interesting. They got some pieces that I feel like are very strong. They got some linebackers that come downhill very well, and they do run that odd front, what our kids kind of struggle with at times, just because of our zone scheme. So, but they do have some holes that we feel like we can explore, and we definitely feel comfortable about running the ball against anybody. Last week we had over 400 yards for rushing. So with those 54 points, we only threw the ball 4 times, and one of them was an interception. But I got a heck of a freshman quarterback, Harcel. I mean, he's probably arguably the best football player on the team. So we're looking for a good one. We're expecting our kids to go in and battle and come home with a W to end the season. Our game plan is the same. Run the ball, run the ball.
What's the day like? You've been traveling all over the state and all over Mississippi, and you know what's the actual day for the kids in general? Like, you get them out of school early, or how does that actually work?
So the thing about it is it's no getting out of school early.
Hey, sorry kids.
No, that's what we don't do that at Pier. But what we always do is on Fridays, the way our schedule is tailored, is kind of independent learning, and we do a lot of mental conditioning and things like that. So we're able to kind of wrap it into it, and then typically we leave about 1 o'clock. This game here will be the first game where we're canceling school because of the ride or whatever, but we're going to treat it exactly like college. So that's what I told my staff. It gives the kids to understand what college is like. Okay, it's like you sleep in a hotel, you got hotel breakfast, we're going to go to meetings at in the various hotel boardrooms that we have reserved, and just kind of teach them what it takes to be a collegiate player and possibly maybe even a pro one day.
I tell you what, this guy right here knows his stuff. Coach Cole, thank you, man.
Appreciate you for having
No
me.
problem, man. All right, my take two. We're doing a soccer / volleyball recap. First of all, Lausanne got a huge win over Mumford last week. You got to see that game up close and personal. Let's talk about the Lynx and Cougar matchup.
Well, actually, I didn't see most of the game because I was behind the Lausanne offensive line. That is the biggest group of kids I ever seen in my life. Oh, my goodness. And I think they prepared Mumford for the playoffs because they won't see a line bigger than that line that they got. And the young kid that's heading to Mississippi State on a tackle, he's definitely legit. That's why Lausanne was able to run with power throughout the night, control the clock. But Mumford had a couple big plays. Jordan Bell proved why he's a Division I caliber player. With the big interception return at the end for 95 yards. At the very end, he never give up. So Coach Calhoun was happy to see his Mumford Cougars fight to the end. Good game. And that 28-15 score was not indicative of how competitive Mumford was, but Lausanne is pretty solid.
All right, so volleyball, soccer wrap up. I know, so this state tournament's going on right now as we speak regarding volleyball.
Well, in 3A, you have Collierville and Houston. Houston won in the opening round, so they're in the winners bracket, playing as we speak. Collierville's in the loser bracket, so they're trying to stay alive. There, Briarcrest was able to make it in private school up there as well, St. George's. So we have a couple teams up there. In 2A, they eliminated my teams, Millington and Covington. But you have Dyer County up there. I think they were competitive in their first set, and Crockett County as well. So West Tennessee's doing okay. They're showing a solid representation. Houston might be able to pull out something in volleyball.
And also, I just saw a score yesterday that, I hate to say it was an elimination matchup, but St. George's beat North Point in an elimination matchup. So congratulations to Griffins for staying alive in that one. Then soccer, we think it's up for grabs, really.
Yeah, St. George's girls are alive in their ECS. They host sectional games this Saturday to see who can go to state. Mumford, Brighton, in my coverage area, I'll be up there Thursday to see who will have the home game winner and who's going on the road for the sectionals. And South Gibson and Dyer County waiting on the other side. Two tough tasks there in 2A. Then in 3A, the usual suspects, Houston, Collierville. So they played each other. Now they have to split up, and they have a pretty good shot of both teams reaching up there in 3A in soccer. So soccer and Briarcrest, can't forget them. They're waiting to see if they can get up there. So it's up in the air, but I think legitimate shots of bringing back a gold ball. Let's look at Houston and Briarcrest. And then with ECS and St. George's, you never know.
And also St. Agnes for volleyball. I'm not going to add them too.
Well, we can. Our coverage area is the suburbs, but the Memphis, we love the M-town. We'll represent. So.
That's my take two.
Okay, we're back with take 3 on the rankings from the Dynamic Physical Therapy Power 10 of West 10 Media. Once again, thank you, Dynamic Physical Therapy. Saw you guys out there with the soccer and volleyball. Make sure the kids are good and to make sure they're okay out there. And football Friday nights, always a tough job to make sure those kids are taken care of. So Dynamic Physical Therapy, we appreciate you sponsoring this year's rankings as we go into week 9. Germantown Red Devils are number 1. The reason I'm going to start with number 1 is, hey, they're undefeated. It's undeniable that they're the number 1 team in our coverage area. Number 2, now that's where we're going to have a little battle. The MUS Owls are at number 2 at 7-1. Got Oakhaven coming up. Number 3, the Houston Mustangs. Yes, we jumped them up to number 3 because looking at their schedule and what they've been through, and hey, that game that they have coming up at the end of the season is going to be very pivotal in the rankings and where they go in the state playoffs. They have White Station coming up this week. Number 4, the Millington Trojans at 7-1. That record is not a fluke, but they have a chance to validate it this week at Brighton, going on the road for a tough game. Number 5, the Collierville Dragons at 6-2. Whitehaven, they have to go take on the Tigers in the Haven, so we'll see, can they be 7-2 when they see the Houston Mustangs at the end of the year. And now we get into the bottom 5. Number 6, the Mumford Cougars, tough loss to Lausanne. Memphis Central coming up on a Thursday night, October 26th, to close out their season. Number 7, the Covington Chargers at 6-2. Ripley, never an easy matchup. Number 8, the Bartlett Panthers. They are only a 3-loss team in our rankings, but they had played one of the toughest schedules. They're 5-3. Got Cordova coming up. Then our 2 little mini mics, as we like to call them, because they play in the small. And number 9, the FACS Crusaders 6-2. Fayette Academy, a big tough matchup coming up for them. And rounding out our top 10 this week, the TRA Rebels at 6-2. Trinity Christian, it's going to be a tough task there for them. And that's this week's Power 10.
All right, my take 4. Just like last week, guys, it's crunch time for a lot of teams that are either going to be in the playoffs or going to be out of the playoffs because it's going to be based on seeding the last 2 weeks of the regular season because this is the next to the last week of the regular season for a lot of teams. Germantown at Arlington, a key region game. Cordova at Bartlett. Raleigh Egypt at Bolton. Those are all 3 key region games for all those 3 teams, or 3 games that I just mentioned. Edward at Briarcrest, a key game for Briarcrest because it's based on seeding. They want to host that playoff game after losing to Christian Brothers early in the season. Father Ryan at Christian Brothers, another key game for the Christian Brothers Purple Wave, just because they want to stay in the playoff hunt in that one. Could Coach Salisbury and Whitehaven Tigers pull the go into Collierville and kind of ruin Collierville's playoff chances? Whitehaven at Collierville. It could be a high-scoring affair, but I think Coach Kirby and the Covington Chargers could run the ball pretty well against Ripley. Ripley at Covington. Thomas brought up a key game as well. FACS at Fayette Academy. A crucial key game for the Crusaders because they lost to Trinity last week. North Point at Lausanne. That could be a very well high-scoring affair between Lausanne and North Point. Lakeland at Sheffield. A key game for Lakeland for going into the playoffs. ECS at St. George's. A key game for the Eagles and a key game for the Griffins because they are going for playoff seeding as well in that one. And then could White Station kind of ruin 8-6A in general as well with a little bit of a shakeup. They host Houston Mustangs this week. And guys, good luck to the rest of the teams this week in our coverage area. Not only the Memphis area, but surrounding areas as well. And we'll look forward to JS Report next week.
Hey, Coach, appreciate you coming in. You want some cake?
No. Carbs? No, I had enough for today. Thanks, though.
I guess we found something that scares them.